Hey, yo, man, we back with the Real Rap Coalition, man, podcast, and we got another episode. This is episode 3, man. Episode 1 got vaulted. Episode 2 may or may not come out, but we back, man. We ain't gonna let it stop. My name is Slim. You know what I'm saying? Showtime Slim, man. Who else we got in the building?
Big Lordy, man. What's happening with you niggas?
FDub, you already know what it is.
It's the blackest of all roots.
Fire.
Creative choice, Caleb, man. Triple C.
Legend shit. I do not know the maniac.
Oh my, come on, dog.
It's a little inside joke, man. But so Pujols picked this movie, and I'm gonna let Pujols go ahead and get a rundown of the summary and everything, and everybody else can chime in after that, man. So go ahead, Pujols.
Okay. Thank you, brothers, for joining me for this glorious movie. This is 2019's Ready or Not with some beautiful Australian lady. That's what got my attention, fellas. I didn't know anything about this movie back in 2019. I just seen a badass white bitch in a horror movie. And I said I want to see what this is about. And it turned out to be amazing, in my opinion. She starts out just getting married. Well, the movie starts out with two boys. Yeah, a little flashback. Two boys basically telling foreshadowing what's gonna happen in the movie as far as I don't want to reveal. Well, the spoilers. This is all spoilers in the shit. It's all spoilers. So.
Oh yeah, we forgot. If you didn't watch the movie, why are you listening? You're fucking dumb. Stop listening. Go watch it, and then listen to it later.
And then come back later.
You're not dumb. You're just uninformed. Go watch the movie.
Okay, I'm not giving a whole summary. I'm just giving the plot basically. Okay, so she's married into a wealthy family, and they got their wealth by making a deal with the devil, basically. And in order for this family to continue staying with all this wealth, anybody who they have to play a game when you marry into the family, and if you choose a certain card, you have to play hide and seek, and they have to murder you, or else they will all die by the end of dawn. That's basically the movie, man. It was pretty fire though. It was crazy to me. Her husband, like the whole fucking movie, he trying to save her. He don't give a fuck about his family. He don't care. He just trying to save his girl the whole time. Like, to me, it's like choices, bro. If you love somebody, do you love them more than your family? What would you do? Like, randomly.
I mean, for one thing, we gotta ask, what would we even call this type of movie? It's definitely a comedy, but there was also parts where I was fucking scared. So
it's probably a suspense comedy.
Definitely a horror comedy. But one thing I'll definitely say is that this movie was able to do both of those things fairly well. I don't think it was weak in either department.
Let's go.
Right? I mean, if anybody disagrees, if you thought the horror was stronger than the comedy, I'm willing to have that discussion. But I think they did both parts extremely well, and they sold both parts. What I'm saying? And neither one got in the way of the other one, in my opinion.
I think I think it's probably like a horror comedy or something like that. I think they did a good job with it as well, because I actually didn't know that it was going to be that. When I went into it, I didn't know that they was going to have comedy in it too. Amen. And I don't feel like the comedy was forced. I feel like what they did was, they kind of built suspense with the horror shit, and then they kind of had little flashes of the comedy and they threw in there to kind of break the tension a little bit. Yeah. Like when everybody was standing around the body and they was trying to figure out when the lady got shot by accident, and they was all standing around talking about the shit, and the aunt was trying to talk, and then the fucking dead body kept making noises and shit. They did a good job of tension and shit with that. She went over there and killed the fuck out of her. Yeah, that shit was crazy. I like how they did it.
You liked her?
But look, this was a colorful movie. This movie had a lot of, a lot of really good plot devices, a lot of good, building of the plot and suspense building and shit. But we couldn't have done it without the characters, yo. These characters or whatever were definitely fire. I really did think that the lead character broke the boundary on that whole in distress, ownership in this shit. So one thing I want to do out the gate is give credit to this main character, the Shorty,
Let's go.
for not being a useless bitch. Come
Let's
on,
go.
like
Yeah, facts.
Let's go.
She played her role really well. She carried her role really well.
That's
I
a
feel like
survivor, Slim. That is a
But
survivor.
I feel like all
Facts.
these characters were needed. You know, they were all necessary. They all had their little, shit that kind of added to the movie and the plot, I feel like.
Hey, hold on, real quick. What I'm not gonna let y'all do is give this bitch all praises. Like she ain't do some dumb shit in that motherfucking either. First of all,
Hey,
that was
I'm
dumb.
not gonna lie to you,
look,
Rootz.
hold
Like,
up.
I was
Hold
gonna
on.
let him finish that hoe.
Nah, fuck that.
But
I ain't letting him finish shit.
What she do that was dumb?
Bro,
you
okay,
show
boom,
right, like
so
that
boom,
bitch.
So boom, look, she saw the bitch get shot in her shit, right? She did right to not scream. Then she start going in the fucking shop, sitting there staring out in the fucking space instead of bitch grab your shoes, put them on, and let's fucking go. And then when
that
they
bitch
get down
sitting
the
there
hall,
just
hold up,
yelling when she
in the
knows
middle
she's
of
supposed to be
escaping,
hiding.
in the middle of escaping, this bitch decides then, as they're running down the hallway, to start asking fucking questions. Stop asking these motherfucking questions. Wait till we get away from the fuck here.
Yeah,
That bitch
I
yelling when
agree,
she's
but
supposed to be hiding, bro. Like yelling loud as a
well,
motherfucker.
KTL, that's the only thing I would say. Let me say what Root said for Roots. I understand what you're saying, but also that was just like one scene. I can't really go into it. But I will say what KTL said. That bitch was loud for the entire movie. Damn, then when she was supposed to be quiet, she was definitely
Is
loud as
she in
fuck.
pain though? That shit hard.
Nah,
Yeah,
there was
no,
one.
hell
There
yeah.
was
He
one
wasn't in
time. Hold
pain
on.
yet.
There was one
Not
time
when I
where her
was
No,
loudness
watching
well,
that
was
Nah,
it's
movie.
nah,
because
she
of
was
what
she
she
was in.
witnessed and all that.
There
You
was
feel me?
one time where she was loud.
Yeah,
And she
but
was
what you
justified
witness,
when
your
when
ass need
she
to
got
shut the
shot in
fuck
her
up,
fucking
fireworks.
hand.
It's hard,
She
nigga.
stabbed
It's
her hand
hard in
on
a
the fucking
situation
nail.
like that.
Nah, not for me. Not a life or death
But
situation. I know
can
to
we
shut my ass.
just like one second? Because look, what you're bringing up, and I want to talk about the other characters too. Because one thing we have to talk about with these other characters or whatever is that although they all had the concerted effort, besides the husband, to end this bitch or whatever, they all had their own little personal hubris and like little flaws or whatever that made it so they just couldn't quite do it or whatever. And
Yeah.
frankly, at the beginning of the movie or whatever, we have to give her credit because she's very ignorant in this situation. Up to the point where she saw that some shit went down. She did not know she was in a death game. She hid in the little trash compactor and shit. She was up there in her blissful ignorance. She was acting like anybody in the situation was trying to make the best, trying to make light of what seems like an increasingly disturbing situation. And then after the point where they're in the hallway, after they see the murder and stuff, yeah, she's frantic, yeah, whatever. But hey, the minute she waltzed down that hallway and she was on her own, she tore up the wedding dress, said, fuck this nigga or whatever, I'm living. And
And that's
I'm
what's
sorry,
up.
but from
That's
that
cool,
moment, she
Luno.
started playmaking. You know,
That's cool. That's
Facts.
cool, Luno. But after that little scene, in which let's pinpoint another fucking thing. Tell me why the fuck she decides to have a 30-second fashion show with her fucking self in the mirror after she put the fake gun on with the fake ammo and all that
listen,
shit, bitch,
it's
That's
looking
just
for
in
the
the mirror and stuff.
audience,
cinematic
bro.
moment.
Yeah, fuck
The
It's
all
just
that
a
audience.
shit. I'm
cinematic
talking
moment.
about it. I'm talking about in the situation. Fuck all that other shit. Yeah, of course, that's
That's
for the
like
movie, the aesthetics of the movie.
but hang on a
But
second
bitch,
though.
why you
That's
taking
not even
seconds to do extra shit?
okay. But look, listen. That's just called a cinematic moment.
Okay.
Like that's like saying that when a character who's like evil and shit like that is being presented or whatever during this shit, like it's stupid that like one of the people who were after that bitch that we were like doing in the makeup in the mirror, like the one bitch, right? It's like yo, like that's not dumb. They're just like building the characters through these arbitrary pieces of like of screen time.
And Luno, I thought you would say that,
And I
which is
can't
why
factor
I
into
have
her
another
character.
part where she was being a dumb bitch. I actually have two more parts where she was being a dumb bitch. One, she
Okay.
gets in the kitchen, right? Finds out the gun is fake. Cool, you didn't know the gun was fake. Cracks the nigga in the face with the motherfucking with the hot water pot. Cool, that nigga backed up. He holding this shit. He grabbed a butcher knife. Bitch, you still have a gun right there with a heavy ass buttstock on it. She could have knocked that nigga the fuck out. Ran out
He's
the
not
door.
in the
What did she
military,
do?
but
Nah, fuck
she
all
don't
that.
know.
The brother.
Nah,
Hold on, no, the brother that
That's
her and her
horrible
shit later on.
reasoning, Pujols.
Her brother that not her brother.
Bro,
Daniel's or is his name
come
Daniel?
on.
Yeah,
Come on,
Daniel.
Rules. Hold on, bro. Hold
Daniel,
No,
the
on.
drunk nigga.
Daniel.
He ain't had no military
Bro,
training.
you
He
just
cracked her
can't
her shit.
expect some fucking random ass skinny white bitch to be like know how to
Oh
do
my god.
combat training, know how to how to
know how
just
to
fight. You not have you ever seen a regular white girl fight? They just go in there swinging their arm. It's not. They don't do nothing like
She
super
had
strong
enough
or aggressive,
wherewithal.
bro.
She
Nah,
had enough wherewithal to grab the
What the
pot.
fuck?
It's a kitchen.
but
It's mad shit in there.
Roos, I
Come
won't
on,
say that.
man.
I won't say that part, but I will say the part. Like there was a part where I kind of felt that same way. It was when she was in the woods and
Oh yeah,
she
yeah. The car
when
crash.
when she got in the car, like she was able to get away from dude and knock him out and shit. I
And then
can't.
she used
He got killed.
technology. She used
But
technology
she
in the car of her
no,
fucking
but
To
chaser.
fuck
before
herself
that,
over.
Luno, I feel like for one, she should have finished him off right
Ran
then
that nigga the
rather
fuck
than
over. That
hopping
was
in the
my
fucking
second
car.
point.
She hopped in the fucking car. No, you should have made sure the nigga was there
She
first of
thought the
all,
nigga
but she
was
didn't.
Man,
dead.
fuck it.
No,
Fuck,
it ain't
nah,
about
ain't no
thinking.
She was
thinking.
It ain't
out.
about
She
It's
thought
thinking.
she
called
was
He
out.
was still
the double
yelling.
tap, bro.
It's not
She
about thinking,
choked the nigga
Pujols.
out.
Hey,
Cool.
if you
If
gonna
you're
if you
not
gonna
gonna,
quote Zombieland, nigga, quote it and give them their credit. Fuck, nigga.
all right. Well,
Listen,
Zombieland
this
said
is a
double
hold on a
tap.
second.
So
This
she
is
choked. Hold
a
on. So
regular girl. I
she
don't want to
chokes
get
him
pinned
out to
down
the
on this
point that he
forever.
passes out.
But
Cool.
she's a
Go ahead,
regular
man.
ass girl. She gets into a car that she's stolen from the dude or whatever. I think she should have taken the gun personally. She didn't do that.
She
Okay,
should have. She
that's
should
a
have.
bullshit. That's bullshit on her part. Whatever. But she's out
Yeah,
of there. And when you're in a vehicle or whatever, it's an insured vehicle. It has the OnStar in there. You think you're good, and when you
let's
phone
drive away.
OnStar, it's gonna be good. Whatever. She phoned OnStar,
All-Star,
and that
Justin from
nigga,
All-Star, hold the
since
fuck
she
out of her.
didn't finish him off, he called and said, "Hey, my car's been stolen,"
Well,
anticipating she was gonna use that.
hey, look, Luna, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot wrong with that scene. Like from a fucking plot standpoint, it's a lot wrong with that scene. For
Like what?
one, I'm just gonna break it down logically real quick. I got 2 points. For one, I don't think he would have had enough time to call at that moment with him being knocked out from when she choked him out.
Well, no, actually,
So
she was
that's one.
waking
I
up.
don't think the
He
car
was
would have.
waking up. He was waking up as she was
But
driving
but
back.
I'm saying I don't think the car would have been reported stolen that quickly. Also, the way she drove off and then dude ended up catching up to her so fucking fast, that also wouldn't happen either.
Nah, that is
There's
kind of
no way he
crazy.
can
She
catch
was
up to her
Yeah,
driving.
that
I
quick on
agree.
foot.
I agree. I agree.
So it's
But
bad writing.
that didn't take
So
away from it for me.
so it's
I
bad.
just
It's bad writing. Essentially, is what you're saying.
it's just a
Okay,
little bit like a
but
little bit of a plot
honestly, in
hole.
the greater scheme of the movie, as far as it being also a comedy, I mean, a lot of times all the characters did really fallible shit that got in the way of their goals, right? Which is what we do in all movies. And so for me, this like little trespass or a number of little like impractical moves that she makes, it makes sense in the greater narrative of the story because everybody is kind of engaged in fucking absurdity as they play this Hunger Games shit. So I'm not going to be too hard on the characters for making dumb choices. It's not a true survival drama. So, okay, we're in a ridiculous world right now with some ridiculous ass people, right? So let's not get bogged down on that. But besides the female lead, right? Can we give some more credit to some other characters? For example, the
The
fucking
brother.
crazy fucking crazy grandmother was a hilarious fucking character,
Oh
and
yeah.
she also provided us our first real jump scare of the movie.
I hate
Um,
that bitch.
yeah, but you know what she represented? She represented the tradition in that household to the T. Everybody else had their own little doubts and the things holding them back. She seemed like the one who, if she was to catch Shorty
Oh, she
immediately,
was going
she would have
off.
been the one to fucking
He would
kill
have
it. There would have
bodied
been
Facts.
her.
Facts.
yeah.
Hey,
She would have
let me chime in
because
real quick. Let me
yeah,
chime
go
in
ahead,
on
go ahead.
on a different character though. Unless you guys were gonna continue speaking about
Well,
It's up
the
to you,
old,
man.
I
Take
did
the
have one
wheel.
thing to say about her. Uh,
huh? Yeah, go ahead.
what he said about her, I agree because she kind of gave that little speech where she was like, she was the one from the beginning of the movie that was about to get married, and then later on she was like, well, yeah, like I really should have killed my husband myself. I should have been the one to kill him. And so yes,
Yeah, her
that
mom,
kind of
his mom.
supports that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
supports that point to where she's about tradition. Even when she was telling her brother, like the dad of the family, that nah, we shouldn't use no cameras because that ain't tradition. That ain't what we do. Like, so she was definitely a tradition based person.
Thanks.
And
Exactly.
which to that point, I forget who brought it up, but dude actually made sense. Yeah, it's not tradition to use cameras, but they ain't have homeland security back then. Like they ain't have house security where niggas had cameras in their
Yeah.
motherfucking shit.
But
So
look though,
it makes
Roots,
sense
right at
to just evolve with the times rather than keep things traditional,
but
quote unquote.
but look,
No, it don't.
right when that nigga said like we could use cameras, they was like, should we still use the traditional weapons? He was like, yeah, we of course we have to. She was like, pick and choose, pick and
That's
choose.
Nah, that's too
contradiction.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that bitch was
contradicting
funny,
itself.
bro.
That's it was funny.
I got a character we should talk
The whole
about.
time
Hold
they
on,
were all
hold
like,
on. Let me
Go ahead,
alluded
fireworks.
to that shit. Yeah.
All right, so I want to shine some light on Emily, right? All right,
Coked
first
up
off,
Which
bitch.
one was
Which
she?
one is that? That's the one that was
Emily,
fucking up.
the one that did the line at the beginning of the movie or in front of
Oh,
the
the
mirror.
crazy
The
chick.
The
dumbass
one
Yeah,
that was
bitch.
that
bodying
bitch,
the family.
man,
She was
She was
bodying
man,
funny
the shit
too.
out of.
man, she was going crazy in that movie, bro. She was doing all sorts of fucking drugs. The line obviously popped some fucking pills. There's some other shit, bro.
Yeah.
Killed two people back
Yeah, I
to
was about to
back,
Killed
say
two
her,
people.
bro. She
recklessly.
had look. She had the
Jesus
highest
Christ,
KD in the
bro.
whole house.
Yo, facts. That's a
Yo, you
fact,
know
bro.
what though? It's like after her
Then that
first
bitch
mistake.
started crying. Like, why do I keep fucking up? Because you
On
on
God.
drugs, bitch.
Yeah, but that was warped comedy
Dumbass.
because she fucked up as like a family member. Like, oh man, I couldn't get the job done. You know what I'm saying? So it was like very funny that shit that they did.
She
Also, I
tried to
think
all G Willikers her way out of it, bitch. You just caught two bodies.
Yeah, Luna, her and the fat dude, they was both there for comedy
Fitz.
relief. I feel like, yeah,
oh
Fitch.
yeah, the fat dude was
The
funny.
fat
He
nigga was
really
funny
didn't
as
want
shit.
shit to do with it.
That
That
nigga
nigga
wanted to
said
be on his phone and shit.
You're not a.
he
Oh
asked
yeah. He was
he
having a
asked the other
conversation
wife.
with another nigga in the
That
bathroom or
nigga,
whatever, too.
he
Yeah,
he asked the other wife, like, hey, so when do we just get the fuck out of here? Like, why
Oh
we don't gotta do this shit.
yeah.
oh man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. Fucking what's that nigga name? Daniel, the brother, right? His wife is kind of fire. I'm not gonna hold you.
No,
Charity?
she's
was.
not.
What?
I thought she was
No,
attractive.
bugging.
I thought she was
was.
Oh, you
attractive.
talking
I
about
thought she was
Charity?
attractive.
Nah,
no,
Charity is
Yeah,
fire. Daniel's
she
wife?
she looked good, but she was what, man.
Yeah,
But she was
Somebody
a
else
gold
talking about
digger.
her.
She was a
Yeah,
gold digger.
somebody
She
else
was a
talking
gold
about
digger.
her.
she
though.
was like
She a
she
gold
was like
digger.
the gold digger type. She was like willing to die for that shit. She was like straight up. I don't give
Nah,
a
she
fuck.
was
No,
willing to.
she
She
Facts.
was,
wasn't.
Facts.
she was willing to kill her fucking husband over that shit.
No, she wasn't. Y'all better stop.
What you mean? No,
Yeah,
she
she
wasn't. She
wasn't. Not
killed
to
that nigga.
mention,
She
Nah.
shot that nigga in the throat.
That bitch
Go,
said, I'll
hey,
die
hold on,
before I
hold on.
get
hell
rid of
yeah,
this
she
shit.
shot her
Then
damn.
the shit starts going down, and that bitch is like, no, wait, I don't want to do this shit no more. Shut your
Yeah,
sorry
everybody
ass
did
up,
though.
bitch.
Everybody did though.
Nah,
Well, except the dad.
nah.
The dad went out
Her,
like a
He
G.
said, can I leave? I don't want to be here. Shut up, bitch.
yo, her fucking husband, Daniel. I'm gonna give him props. He was the realest nigga in the
That
movie.
nigga was the best
Of
nigga.
course.
He was the
best
realest.
nigga, bro.
Now, on the other hand, Alex was a bitch ass nigga from the start.
Oh yeah.
I
That
don't
He
know
was
was a
about
bitch
from the
from the jump.
start.
From
the
the
way
start.
This is-
he fucked
okay,
with her
so this is my
emotions and
thing.
everything, bro.
This is
From
my
the
thing
start.
about her. So in the scene about him. So in the scene when they in the hallway and she Grace start freaking out, right? He made a lot of sense. He was like, "Look, if I told you, you was gonna leave. If I didn't propose, you was gonna leave." And I love
Man,
you.
that's some bitch ass shit.
Nah, but
He's a
look
bitch.
though, you die automatically no matter what if you don't go
Nah,
get married.
this Pujols, this is what it is. That ain't the reason why he didn't do it. Like Rootz just said, he didn't tell her because he thought that bitch was gonna leave him.
I would have did the same shit.
He's a bitch nigga.
That's not no bitch shit, bro.
That is some bitch ass shit.
No, it's not. So I'm
Yes,
gonna tell
it
this
is.
bitch, oh, we gotta play a game, and if hey man, we gonna kill you if you don't get it right. Why the
He
fuck would
coulda-
she stay?
That's a good point.
Yeah, she wouldn't stay.
no,
they was dating.
but
What
the
Crazy
reason
ass
I don't
18
agree with it.
months? At what point?
Yeah, no, the reason I don't agree with it is
18 months is that
because
cool to bring up?
It's
no,
never cool to bring up.
no, the reason I don't agree with it is because for one, you know she's gonna be in danger regardless. Like if you take her to this shit and don't tell her, she's still in danger regardless. Why not just tell her? And if
This
she
why.
leave you, then oh well, what the fuck? Y'all don't get married,
Bro,
so it's
this
no.
is why.
If they don't get married, then none of this has to happen. The only reason it had to happen was because they was getting married.
But see, the thing is,
Let me explain, though.
he left his family to find like love like that to where that shit didn't
Like,
come into
look,
play.
I mean,
The only
boy
thing
was
that
a
fucked
bitch.
that
that's
up
got to be
hold on.
questioned. That's
Hold
got to
on,
be
hold on.
Nah, he's a
Also in
bitch
the
nigga.
movie,
that's got to be put in
That
question
boy
too.
was
they
a
was
bitch.
saying in the movie, like he was explaining to her, like, you can't just elope. His uncle them tried to do that and they died too. You can't do it. That's number
No.
one right there. He said,
Yeah,
what
go
you
ahead,
mean
go
no?
ahead.
He did say that.
That's
Well,
number one.
I was saying they shouldn't have did it.
You
No,
saying
that's
that she was
okay.
not
Hold
married
on.
anyway.
That's number
Yeah.
one.
Go ahead.
Number two, bro, it hasn't nobody pulled that card in 30 years. So basically, he rolling the dice like, man, I pray that we don't pull
Yeah,
this
but why
card
not just tell the bitch?
because, bro, she's not gonna
She's
do it.
not going for that shit, bro.
Bro, he was
Okay,
a
well
bitch,
then
bro.
it just won't be done. Why does he need this
Then
bitch
they
so
both
much?
get killed.
And then all that shit was
No,
pointless because she was
no,
a
no, no,
bitch in the
no.
end
Hold
anyway.
on.
You didn't give
Yeah,
a fuck
yeah.
about that
I was
Hold on.
about to
bitch,
bring that
nigga.
up. I
Shut
was
your
about to.
bitch ass
Yeah,
Hey
up,
Luno,
boy.
I was about to bring
they
that up
only
too.
get killed if they get married and don't
Fuck wrong with
participate in
you,
the game. If they don't get married, then they don't have to do
Bro, you
anything.
But if
can't
they
have a
don't, but if
girlfriend
he
Yeah,
forever.
but
They
I'm
don't,
already
saying
said
that
it.
they
but he
can't get
said he
married
He
has
it ain't
without
gonna
they
be
can't
no.
get married without
Hey,
playing the
look, let me
game.
explain this for us, Luno, Black Roots. It ain't gonna be no girlfriend because, like he said, the bitch was gonna leave him, and that's he didn't want this bitch to leave him,
You don't,
so
bro. You
he didn't
don't
want
know
the
that
bitch to
though.
leave him.
You
He
don't
But
said
he
know
it.
that.
said that though. He
All
He
you,
said that.
said
bro.
it.
No, listen. Okay. Let's say I tell my bitch like, "Hey, look, we got to go play this game. If you pull this card, my family gonna kill you." She might say some shit like, "Well, let's just never get married and let's just be together forever." It don't work like that. You have to
be
get married.
together
The nigga
forever.
already said that.
And all
This
you
his.
gotta do is say no. What the
What do you
fuck?
mean? Oh,
She don't tell me what the fuck to do. What's wrong with you?
He
no, you
said, "What
can't
do
get.
you
We
I'm
mean,
telling
we
you,
no?"
gon'
you can't get mad,
either
bro.
we
You
gonna
can't.
get married. Either we gonna get married or not,
You
Pujols.
can't keep fucking with her forever. The nigga, that's part of the rules.
You
Nigga,
don't
this is
have
like the
to.
rules.
Stop
All
fucking
right.
with her.
Oh, okay.
My whole thing is, I don't think he should have kept it a secret. You should have told this bitch she was gonna be in danger from the jump because she was gonna find out eventually. Should have just told the hoe. That's how I feel.
Either way,
We
his
have to
motive.
give him some level of credit. I mean,
I ain't
or
gotta give that
you know what the
motherfucker
thing is,
shit. He
you
a
know what the
bitch.
thing is,
Me either. He's a bitch.
honestly, if he
Oh,
knew that at the end they all died and he really believed it, then he's a real nigga. If he was like everybody else who had like like skepticism about whether or not they die at dawn, then then it's not really real, like, him trying to say, because honestly, if you knew you were gonna die, but you wanted to save this chick that badly and you went against your family, I think that that's real.
that's what I
Nah,
was saying.
nah,
Until
Luna.
the
What it
end,
is
he fucked
no.
it up at the end.
He betrays
Pujols
her at
was
the end.
right.
Yeah.
Pujols was right. He didn't know that they was gonna pull that card, so he
Yeah,
just figured they finna go in here and play a game, and then they planned to leave the next day.
but
But you should
hide
have
and seek.
told this bitch it was a possibility. Like he should have told her that.
Yeah, but hide
No.
and seek, the way it works is that if you don't catch the person by dawn, you die, right? And if he knew that and he believed that and still tried to save her, I think that that's a virtuous fucking thing.
Facts.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
cool. But I
skepticism. We
still,
don't know.
Oh,
He ain't
listen,
got
That's
no
I
just
think that
virtue
character
in
growth,
him,
though.
and I don't want to hear
that's
none of that shit. You did some bitch ass shit at
listen,
the
I
end,
agree,
boy.
before we
KT.
get too
Yep.
bogged
Yep.
down though,
Yep. Yep.
He
let's
was a
talk about
bitch
the
the
fucking
entire
plot
movie.
though.
He did
Let's
that because, bro, he thought he seen her kill his mother, bro, and he thought
yeah.
she killed his brother too. Like that's
Oh
why he
yeah,
did it. The nigga
oh
just was
yeah.
like, damn,
That's
fuck
not
it.
true because the
I
first thing he
disagree.
said,
I
he
disagree.
said after she killed his mom or whatever was, "You're not going to stay, are you?"
Yeah, you're not gonna stay with me.
yeah, because
Yeah, but I
he
disagree,
I
Pujols.
don't think he even knew that she was there when the shit happened with Daniel. Because he talked the first thing she said was Daniel's dead.
I mean, how else would he? I would have thought she did that shit. Like, how else
Oh
was she?
well.
Listen, guys, we're getting a little bogged down right now, and I think we've pretty much
Mhm.
exhausted our concerns about the characters. Let's talk a bit about the plot and the setting. Okay, first of all, we're set in a pretty much a house in like a remote area or whatever. This is like this guy LaBelle or whatever his name is or whatever. He was like some big wig or whatever back in the day who did like a puzzle, and
Ladonis.
he came to big wealth as a result of it. And they revere him as kind of like a demigod, and they pray to him. They make offerings, sacrifices to him, whatever else, and they play the game in reverence of him or whatever. As like a plot scheme, like that seems pretty fire. I have no issues with that. It seems good. Like
It
as
was.
like a starting point,
I
you
agree.
know.
I thought it was a unique plot in my opinion. I definitely never heard of that type of
Oh, that's
shit
a fact.
before. You feel
That's a
me?
fact.
So
We was talking about how there's only just a few plots in it, and you just put tweaks to it. I don't think this one has ever been done before this. Because even with like with the last movie, Death on the Nile, that is just Clue in a hat. Like that's just Clue. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure.
and Murder Mystery and all of the other murder mysteries like that. But with this, I don't think there's another movie out there like this. But not done like this.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say it like that. I think that there are movies that, for example, the Hunger Games aspect of survival, or like everybody's against one person kind of deal. A hunt, manhunt. I think that that's been done. But as far as like the premise of like like some dude, like people. I guess using the idea that like people revere somebody who's not like a god or holy or whatever as if he is or whatever, and they believe in this super hard or whatever else. Like that's cool to set up the movie. I like that they did that shit. And there's also the lingering question of whether or not that shit is true. Like, are these people really gonna die? There's mad characters saying, "Well, this is ridiculous." Like, do you guys really think we're gonna blow up or we're gonna die? Like, maybe they all died because they caught this sickness or what? So this keeps coming up. But yo, I think they did really well. Like the introduction with the foreshadowing, like Pujols said, I think it transitioned well into the marriage and stuff like that. And even as the viewer, you're still unsuspected. Like you're like yeah, everybody's kind of uncomfortable, whatever. But maybe they're just weird. You know what I'm saying? But up until you start realizing what's going on with hide or seek and everybody's expression change, the movie shifts. And I think that moment right there was like a kind of pre-climax to like the excitement of the movie. So I really like the way that they did the introduction. I thought that shit was seamless.
Yeah, from the introduction to the shift of the game actually starting and how real the shit is to the ending of how it ended. Like it's dawn, nothing's happening, and then motherfuckers just start blowing the fuck up. In which they didn't spare a shit.
Yeah, that
Even the
shit was
kids
kind of
blew
funny,
up,
man.
bro. That shit
That shit
wild
caught
as
me off
fuck.
guard.
Like the kids
Hey, that
blew up,
bitch.
bro.
That bitch needed to blow up.
Hey, yeah, but when she said that shit about how
X
when she told her brother, she was like, her kids don't deserve to die. And then they cut to the scene where the dude shot old girl in the barn.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
through the
man, what
hand.
the fuck did you?
And
Of course he deserves to die. He just like y'all.
But his
I just gotta say, man, that's
explanation
horrible
for it,
parenting, by the
his
way.
explanation for it,
That's
he said, she asked him, why were you down here? He said, I seen the
Because
bitch
that's what
going in the
everybody else is
barn.
trying to do.
I followed her. I tried to shoot her. I shot her in the hand or whatever the fuck. And then I ended up here. And he was like, why?
Yeah,
They
so
was like, why?
he
He was like, that's
deserves
what
that
everybody
too.
else is doing.
Yeah, so he deserves that too.
Yeah, he deserves that too. But
yo,
the how, like the difference between Daniel and Alex's kids and then those kids and just how the evolution of the family is, I think that's kind of like a fire telling as well.
I don't think it's no difference, Rootz.
In the end,
Daniel did the same shit.
Alex and Daniel were able to go against it, whatever. These kids are indoctrinated. They've been indoctrinated for a long ass time and shit like that. And what really shapes I think Daniel and the main dude or whatever is that they have the
Alex.
trauma from the first experience. And that heavily weighs on how they're dealing with hide and seek now. As compared to this kid, he probably just came up or whatever, and he probably would have been one of the first to shoot, and he was.
He was literally the only person
horrible
like try to get a clear lick on the bitch.
But I think one thing that this movie does, whatever, to keep its plot going, is find ridiculous ways of keeping the chase going. I mean, she gets into a situation where she encounters Daniel. Daniel has this like little like moral like guilt and shit, and he's like, "I'll give you a 10-second head start." Yeah, like I'm gonna give you a 10-second head start or whatever. She ends up in a situation where she's like head on with like the crazy girl. Crazy girl's just like misses. Like so, there's a lot of ridiculousness to keep the plot moving.
Point blank. I've only ever seen that on Call of Duty. Like, bitch let off 5 shots from a fucking literal hand cannon while the bitch is 5 feet away from her. And she matrix through and bobs and weaves through all that shit. I don't know if that's a testament to how good Grace is or how trash Emily is.
Hey, look though, like what somebody said earlier about Alex. Yeah, I feel like what they did with Alex was they kind of played him up to be like the hero the entire, like for half the movie, like he's gonna be the one to save his wife and this and that. But they was also kind of foreshadowing the fact that, people were saying, well, Alex is supposed to be the leader of the family.
Yeah, they had a dark side.
Yeah, and like the aunt was like, he just got to realize who he truly is, like I had to do, and this and that. And so it was kind of predictable for me whenever he did what he did to his wife. But I also feel like they was kind of throwing little hints at it the whole time. Like even his mama told him, he'll never choose you over the family type shit. So they kept throwing like little hints in there that Alex was, he might flip to that shit. But I think it was a little bit predictable when it got to it, but it was still good.
I agree.
Yeah. So I thought that they navigated the plot pretty well. I thought that at the end with the car and stuff like that, they had leaned a little bit more into the comedy and the absurdity than like whatever was going to happen at the end. It just seemed like at the end, it stopped really being like a high intensity chase. I thought that the intensity simmered down as we realized how ridiculous everybody was. So some of my like apprehension from like the horror aspects definitely died down as the movie progressed, and I more of just
Okay,
a
Luno.
comedy sort of thing. Yeah.
What y'all think about like the moral or the lesson of the movie? Like what y'all got from it? The meaning.
Rich people are dickheads.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
ask
kind of,
what lesson did you get from this?
I
Like,
don't know.
yeah, I
I don't
kind of
know if
feel
it's
like
a
it goes
lesson, but
along
like
with
what
that.
maybe like
lesson?
just a
There is
statement.
definitely not no
It's just
lesson.
rich people
No,
are
I
Lesson
disagree.
is,
Not necessarily a
The
lesson.
lesson is,
yeah, rich people are dickheads. That's the moral.
you put a
Facts.
I
bad
think
bitch in any
the
situation, you
moral,
pay to get out that hole, bro. That's the lesson.
I think it's like a dive into like how they view the upper class type shit, and they saying like how they kind of say rich people are dickheads, but it's more about like I feel like they do like weird and fucked up shit to like kind of put
to
themselves
either
on top, like
obtain
their
or
family and shit,
continue to maintain their wealth.
their
I
wealth,
Yeah.
think
yeah, and protect
I
their
think that
family
I
throughout
think
their.
that when you try to set yourself free by like being constrained by something like dogma or like a fucking restrictive like religious worldview or something like that, that doesn't truly free you. You're never going to be able to truly be free if you like in like a worldview like that. I think that's what they're trying to say because
Mhm.
everybody had their doubts, everybody had their suspicions, but at the end of the day, in all of them being afraid or whatever, they leaned into their belief and shit as a way to save them. But in the end, it ended up damning them. Exactly. So the thing is that this movie is really about people in the internal conflict between their beliefs and then what's actually happening in front of them. The mother, I like her. I don't even want to be doing this right now. The other dude, man, I
Mhm.
can't even, like, he's drinking himself into a fucking coma because he doesn't want to take part in this. The girl,
Daniel,
even her, she has to take fucking lines, take pills, do everything. Let's go
yeah.
find you an edible because all of them are actually enduring quite a bit of stress about this
Hey,
shit, you know?
she had never held a weapon before, but that just goes to show you, like, what the family, it was an obligation for them to go out and try to kill this person. But these people were not even people that were killers. They're not killers for real. But that was the family obligation. That was the thing to do to protect the
Man,
family.
Exactly. So
they're not.
people rely on tradition in their culture. They rely on their belief when it comes to difficult times. But at the end, they kind of show that like your beliefs or whatever aren't enough. That going outside your world literally is necessary if you want to, you know what I'm saying, if you want to flourish or whatever else. So I think that's one
Mhm.
thing that they were trying to teach with this movie.
All right, man. Anybody got anything else before we get to the ratings?
Hey KTL, did you wanted to say some other stuff? Because I know you wanted to go last in the episode.
Well, I was just gonna wait until the rating fireworks, but I've just kind of been letting everybody like get their points off. It sounds like this was a pretty decently, thoroughly enjoyed, movie by just about everybody. Um, I'm of the opinion that this is the second worst movie I've watched this year. Like
That's
Halloween
why he went
ends.
so last.
I'm not. I knew y'all were gonna laugh, and I promise you, I'm not
So
joking.
you
Like
think it's ass?
this movie, there was, and I'll get to it in the rating. There were like two redeeming factors of this movie, and one of them came in the last 5 minutes. Right, like I sat through it. Not a single character was likable except for the brother. Daniel was okay. Like I fucked with him. And in the last 5 minutes of the main bitch character, right? Everyone else was insufferable. They were either useless or a dickhead.
You don't
Like
think
nobody
the
did
fat
no
guy was like
hold
a
shit.
comic relief,
My
or the
bitch.
He
sister?
was he might have been comedic, but he was like wild pussy and wild useless. Like
That's what was
if
funny
you're not
about it.
gonna be
He's a
if
regular
you're not no, but
person
here's
though.
what I'm telling you, Slim. Here's what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
I don't got no problem with like you not being about that shit, but get
Mhm.
your bitch ass out of the situation. Like get the fuck
He
on
can't.
somewhere.
Yeah, he's
You're
He
not
can't.
doing
married.
nothing.
Do nothing.
No. But this what I was saying
Then
earlier.
go
Like,
die, bitch. Damn.
no. Listen, bro. Listen. This is what I was saying
Fuck.
earlier. Like, when I was commenting on the
Boy
sister
gave a
type
loaded
shit.
crossbow to a coke addict and got a bitch shot.
But that's what I'm
Wow.
talking about, KTL. But that literally, I think those two were the comic relief
Like
characters.
I say, it
But-
was a little bit like funny that like that bitch. She's like, oh, like as soon as you put a weapon in her hand, somebody else gets clapped. I think that's like comedic effect.
Mhm.
But then like she did that little like why do I keep? I'm like, shut your bitch ass up. You know what's wrong with you. Get the fuck. And everybody's like, oh, sweetie, it's okay.
Nah, I think you're being a little bit too critical on them. Like
Hey,
like
and
Pujols said,
that's fine.
Also,
I
you're
waited
trying
and
to argue
listened to
the movie
everybody
from
else's
within the
opinion.
movie as opposed to outside of it. I understand that the ridiculousness, the absurdity, or whatever, it's just captured in the comedic element of this movie. I'm not
Right.
expecting anybody to be wholly rational.
There are
I'm not
comedic
expecting these
moments.
characters. I'm not expecting these. Like when I make a comment like "fucking John Wick is that nigga." I
was
mean,
finna
I'm
say that too.
understanding that. I'm understanding that because like John Wick is in a world of absolute fucking adversity or whatever, and he overcomes
Exactly.
it with shining
I don't
colors,
expect
even when
that
the
fat
odds are
nigga to
stacked against
be
No,
him.
but that's
John
the
Wick,
I don't
though.
problem, though,
expect
Luno.
any of them
It would
niggas to
be
do
one
that.
thing
Oh, shit.
if everyone if everyone was comedic. There were two comedic characters, and some like the rest of these people were either just idiots or they were taking themselves too seriously.
But at
Like
the
they were
same
comedic
time,
relief characters, but they were not
Just
comedic
like
relief
niggas in real
characters
life.
that
hold
drove
on, but
any
Everybody
character.
had
everybody
comedic
had
value.
exactly.
Movie.
Everybody had at least one or two comedic
I'm not of that
moments.
opinion. I'm not of that
I don't
opinion.
understand what you expect regular people to do in this situation. They probably never
These
shot
aren't
no
regular
shit.
people. I would
Yes,
expect
they
regular people
are.
to fuck up. These are people
They
who have
fucked up.
who have like a motherfucker like you said, that old bitch, the old like aunt, whatever the fuck. That bitch is like probably 70 something years old. They said the last time this shit happened was 30 years ago. So at minimum,
was her
this shit
husband.
probably happened at least 2 other times in her
was-
lifetime.
So you
For her
expect
to have
niggas to
done
be cold.
absolutely nothing except for bitch in this whole movie, it is pathetic.
Wait, is this the second movie where this is the second movie we watched? The first one
Hey,
being
KTL,
walking around with a battle axe.
hey,
the
bro,
whole
but
time,
I
just like,
disagree with that.
no, we gotta stick to the tradition. Shut your bitch ass
Nah,
up.
bro.
that
Hold on,
wasn't a
look.
battle
Let
act.
me
It
tell
was
you
a
Get
this,
a gun
hatchet.
and finish it yourself.
Let me tell you this, KTL.
Fucking
So,
battle axe.
but look though, with the lady, the last time it happened, it was her husband, and she definitely didn't take part of it when it was her husband.
Shit,
But
and that's
she was young.
She took part of the
She was
ritual.
pretty young
That
at
shit-
that
Took part of
time.
the
She
ritual.
wasn't old at that time.
Okay, the shit 30 years apart. If I shot a fucking basketball right now, then I shoot one in 30 years from now, you think I'm still gonna know how to do it if I ain't
then
did it?
don't complain about how I'm shooting a
No.
basketball.
Who's bro? They
But
didn't
KTL,
complain.
they
was trying
definitely
their
was
hardest.
regular
That bitch
people.
definitely complained, Pujols.
Nigga, it's regular people trying to kill somebody who don't know how to
It's not
kill
regular
people, bro.
people, and I'm not
They didn't
letting you
even know
take
how
that
to
bar
use the
off.
fucking weapons
Nigga,
they
it
had.
is regular
not
people.
true.
One guy
Not
didn't know how
true.
to use
One-
the weapon.
The
Everybody
girl
else got
didn't.
a
The
gun
girl.
or
the
The
bow and
girl.
something.
arrow.
The girl did not know
Bitch
how to
with the
use
bow and
that,
arrow
that
know how
shit.
That
knew how
bitch
to
knew
use
how
that
to
shit.
use that hoe. She just didn't know how to hit nothing with it.
No, she didn't. She fucked up and shot
Shit,
it as
she
soon as she
killed
put it in
somebody
her
with it,
hand.
didn't she?
Yeah,
Well, we gonna
accidentally,
Hey, hold on,
KTL.
Oh, all
No,
we
right.
gonna put
She
She
didn't
your
know
knew
what
how
she
to
was
use that
doing.
hoe. You point
Emily,
and you
hold on.
pull.
we
Hold
gonna
on.
put
Didn't know
your
what she
Emily
bitch
was
in a
killed
life
doing with
or
somebody
that
death
on
shit,
purpose,
bro.
situation
but
and
she
still
didn't
shoot
do
Point
him
it on
out
and
there.
purpose
pull
and
the trigger,
on
bro.
accident.
Again, I hate to hammer this point home. I hate being a broken
She
record,
did
but if
not
you
kill that
understand,
family
if
member
you
on purpose, Roots.
But
sorry,
I'm sorry.
if you
Hold on, real quick,
understand this,
Luna.
if
Hold
you
on, real quick,
understand,
Luna.
okay,
The first maid that got shot in the face, she shot her and then
Not even her. I ain't
Who
talking
you
about
talking
her. You said the one at the end with the
the
little.
Asian girl, or
Was it like a
Yeah,
crossbow
the
she had
crossbow.
and she
Yeah,
shot
she
it by
shot that
accident?
Yes.
by accident.
She did
yeah,
not know what she was
Yeah,
doing
but
with
she knew
that.
what she was doing with the fucking
That
gun
was an
because she shot
accident.
the
She
bitch in
didn't
the
know how
face
to do
thinking it
that
was
shit, but
great.
nobody
She
knew how to
did
do
know
that
what she
shit.
was
She
doing with
never
the
shot
gun.
a fucking crossbow in her life, bro. I
Yeah,
can
like
hand one of
that's
you
that. I
niggas
don't
that hoe and y'all
blame
can
her for
fuck
that.
up.
Yeah, I don't blame her for that crossbow shit. Nobody knew how to do that shit. She did that on accident.
And
That bitch
she's
knew how to
on
Yeah,
use a gun.
drugs when
yeah,
she
that's
She
what I'm
shot the
pointed
saying.
and
first bitch.
pulled. She pointed, pulled, and said, "Oh my god, I got her." She knew what she was aiming at, what
The
she was shooting
the
at,
bitch
and
on
then she
coke, bro.
realized that she hit the wrong person because it was dark and she's on coke.
She just
On
saw a
coke.
woman and she thought it was somebody else. She didn't know.
Exactly, but don't tell me she didn't know how to use the gun. She aimed it,
Come on,
shot it,
bro.
hit
Nigga,
what
It's
if
a
I
she
shoot
gun.
a
intended
nigga,
It's
that
to
a
don't
hit.
mean
gun.
I know how to use
It's a
it.
gun, KTL. Of course she
Slim,
can just
she
pull a
aimed
trigger
it,
because
and
you
shot
know
it,
how
and
to
hit what
use the
she.
gun doesn't mean that you know how to aim it properly.
Luno, stop saying this. She aimed and shot one bullet and hit
That
the
don't
thing that
mean
she
you know
aimed
how
at.
to use
She
it.
didn't hit once.
if your target is somebody else
He
and
didn't
you
miss
shoot
once,
another
bro.
person, that means
He didn't miss
you
once.
don't know
I
how to
agree.
use
Just because
it.
you give somebody a gun, that
She
don't
got
mean they
6
know what they're
bullets
doing
and
with it.
she had 5 bullets after she took the shot. She didn't miss once.
And she did
She
the
missed
same
5
shit with the
times in a
crossbow,
row.
KTL. She
Yeah,
still didn't know how to use
well,
it.
to be fair, no, she didn't. Like y'all made that up earlier, and I let it
KTL,
slide. She didn't
KTL,
miss 5 times in a
she
Yes,
row.
she
That bitch
also
did,
walked
nigga.
up. No, she didn't. That bitch walked up, grabbed the gun. They was fighting over it. She pointed that bitch in the air and let off like 3 of them. Then that
That
other
didn't
bitch
happen.
got the gun and she pointed it at her and tried to shoot her, but there was no bullets left. So she didn't just miss at close range. They was fighting over the gun and she let
Oh,
off at minimum 2 or 3 shots.
so she didn't miss none close range?
Shit, I don't know. She probably she
She
shot
did, bro.
Amir or
She
whatever
did.
the fuck
She
that
did.
is. She almost like
Listen,
shot her
KTL,
family or some
KTL,
shit.
I'm gonna keep it a whole bug with you, man. I
Uh-huh.
agree that characters in this story, they did stupid shit. Every character did some stupid shit. I think that in this movie, we can't judge them as if that they're engaged in a serious plot.
Bruno,
This
it's
is
a partial comedy. I'm not like hating on them because of stupid shit. I'm saying that there was no redeeming factor for any of these characters except for like like I said, there was one guy that was good, and then there were like a couple of people who had their like one moment in the movie or so, 1 moment, 2 moments in the movie.
I think that was the point,
Like
though.
there was not. I like every character.
I
Whether
don't know what you was looking for
protagonist
in
or
a horror comedy. What are you looking for in a horror comedy, bro?
I mean, Shaun of the Dead, fucking.
That's a
What was the
parody.
redeeming shit in Shaun of the Dead
That's a
that
parody.
happened?
Now, well, no, that's fine. That's fine. It can be a parody. Just saying, he said a horror comedy. He didn't say whether it had to be parody.
What was the redeeming in Shaun of the Dead?
That the characters that were there that were like intended, at least in my opinion, were intended to be like comedy characters, which was most of them. They actually did a good job at comedy throughout. They had more than just one
Because it was
moment
a
that was
parody.
like good.
That was the purpose for everybody to be funny.
I mean, that's cool, bro. Hey, and this is why, like I said, this is why I waited until last. I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna be in the minority here,
That's a
but
whole
this
new
was not a
concept, bro.
movie.
Ain't you used? Don't you want to see something different, bro? This is a whole new concept of a movie, bro. Don't you want to see something different, or you want to see the same shit over and over again?
I
Right, we're
don't.
gonna
Well, so
we're
I
getting
don't
into
think
really
that.
abstract territory, right? Like I don't think we need to do that. If you don't like that, characters didn't have like some heroic or virtuous redemption as if it were like a drama or an adventure or something like that
I
or a
don't think it needs
thriller.
a moment of
That,
redemption. I just think that they need to have like there's I can at the end of the movie I can say okay I can look back at this character and be like okay so the purpose of this character being here was this like I remember a moment or a thematic tone or something that I'm like okay
okay,
I
but
know why this
all
character
of them
was
had
here.
their purpose,
They're
right?
not
The
just
main character,
interchangeable.
the main character served to provide tension for like what was going on. He was also like the one most mixed about what to do with the chick. The chick herself was just like a stranger in on like a new situation or whatever, and she's the lens from which we actually look at the story. Everybody else, well, Daniel, for example, Daniel was the one who was like partly morally corrupt, but he also had sympathies for the chick or whatever. It's
Uh-huh.
clear everybody has a part. It just seems like
Yeah.
you are nitpicking at excellence and then saying everybody needs to have something that makes them perfectly
Well,
stand
first
out.
off, excellence is definitely a stretch here, right? So, but
Yeah.
beyond that, like
Or
the main
exceptionalism, right? Like you need
protagonist.
characters to be exceptional, and I think that every character helped each
I don't
other
need them to
in
be
being
exceptional. I would have been
substantial.
okay with average.
Okay, but every character helped each other pretty much be
Luno,
actualized in this
here's
story.
one thing that I will say, right? Like at certain points of the movie, I literally couldn't like there was 2 sets of bitches that I couldn't tell apart. Like one of them died, and I saw the other one later, and I was like, oh shit, I thought that bitch died. You know,
Talking about the
like
maid
they
bitches,
were
right?
so traded. It was the maid bitches, and then you had like the fucking mom, and then you had like another old bitch that I saw. I was pretty sure that I
You
was
didn't know
like,
the
Okay.
difference
okay,
with the
like these
mom?
is the
You didn't
same
know
bitch.
you didn't tell the mom apart?
I think like when she died, I did like you know what I'm saying. Whenever like I figured out, like I was oh okay, like this is what's going on right here, you know, right now and shit.
The mom
But that's
literally
what I'm
had like
saying,
the
Luno, is
first
that there was such like a
conversation with
lack
this
of
chick from the
distinction.
family. The
Like there
first
was such
person
a
she
lack of
made
distinction.
the first person who tried to understand this main character, the female lead, was this dude's mom, Alex's mom. Like she had a
Uh huh.
conversation in the garden or whatever when they were taking pictures. She's the one who sat down with her when she had first come into the foyer and was like, "Well, we can't wait to have you a part of our family." You know what I'm saying? Like it was,
Yeah.
so she was definitely identifiable.
But
I
I
mean,
think my problem is that, like, right, y'all look at these characters and y'all are like, oh, okay, well, they had this certain alignment and it switched up when the pressure was on. I don't view it like that. I view that like they were just sitting at like it was all bullshit, like clearly, because I don't think you throw away your fucking like the way that you actually like feel about a person. I don't think you throw that away on some hocus pocus shit that you've never seen happen. Like, oh, everybody might die. Like they didn't even say in a way that like somebody would die. They were like, oh yeah, like I heard it was a house fire.
It
like,
was a family tradition.
It was just
right?
some wild hocus pocus goose chase shit that they were like, well, this is the way we've always done things. Better get after it. Like,
Wait,
you know,
bro,
Isn't that how
look,
tradition works, though?
That's like, no, exactly. That's
no,
like a
and
nigga
I
saying, I
agree,
don't think
Rootz, but I don't
Christianity
think
is
that
real
makes
because
it
I'm
right. I don't think
45
that
now.
makes it a good plot point. I don't think that
Bro,
makes it like if I'm looking at like and like I say, maybe the problem is that I'm attempting to view something in the manner of which I would be dealing with it if I was in the situation, right? Like I'm not just going to like completely, you know, become an idiot. You know,
ATL, you
put
would
in a
do whatever you
situation
were
off
brought
some
up to do,
shit with
bro.
no
I
evidence.
disagree.
That's fine. That's
That's why
fine.
You
That's
would do
fine.
whatever you would
That's
be
why
brought
people
up to do.
believe in the
I think
religion
I
that
think
they
that
believe in till they die.
Yeah,
listen,
like
Literally till they die.
listen, I don't get on characters' decision making unless the movie tried to make it seem like something substantial happened as a result of ridiculous decision making. So if somebody, for example, is going against the strongest being in the world, and you're telling me that the main character wins the fight by like saying an emotional line and like punching him once, it's like, yo, this is anticlimactic. This is shitty. He didn't get any more powerful. He
That's
just
Rocky
got
shit.
emotional and punched, you know? So in that setting, I could say, yeah, this is bad decision making. But everybody in this movie is to some extent retarded. And so when they do
Exactly.
retarded things, I'm not going to sit there and be nearly as judgmental, but I accept your opinion. And if it wasn't an enjoyable movie for you, I'm not trying to make you make any dire commitments. But what I am going to ask you for is a rating, right? We got to get
Wait,
to
let
Yes.
me
these ratings.
let me say this real
Wow,
quick
good
though,
segue,
Luno.
Luno. Good segue, Luno.
Let me say this real quick though. So at the end of the day, you know, they were right. You know, the family was right, of course, because they fucking exploded in the fucking flames at the end of the
Right.
movie. But I just want to say, anybody that was raised up in this type of family, if you were raised up in this family as a child, you would have been just like the little kid in the barn. You would
Just
have
Would
like
had
you?
picked up the
Because
gun.
that's not how Alex was until the end.
He
Yes,
left
he
though for a
was.
long time.
no,
Oh well, see now, hey Slim, and you might be right, but if that's the case,
Alex,
then I further reiterate my statement where, like,
but
I don't believe he ever cared about that bitch. He was a dickhead,
no, this
a
is the
No,
thing.
smarmy
I
little
agree with you,
dickhead.
No.
I agree with
Look,
you. I agree
but
with
let me
you.
say this.
Fireworks.
But let me say this, y'all. What it is like just how we said they had an internal battle, but you know, within Daniel, I feel like it was the same thing with Alex too. He had an internal battle, and at the end of the day, whereas Daniel went the other route, Alex, you know, went the route that the family would have wanted him to
He
go.
bitched up, bro. He
Yeah.
Yeah,
bitched
So
up.
I don't
both of the
believe it. Like, he
brothers had
definitely
the
a
same.
bitch, though.
I feel like
He
both of the
definitely a
Yeah.
brothers.
bitch.
Guys, you
Bro, the
guys are missing what I said earlier about the trauma of the situation. Like they grew up in the situation the same as the other ones, right? But for them to, like, for example, Daniel protected Alex from like what was
Facts.
going on or whatever, right?
Facts.
Daniel had a conscience or whatever. He was the he was sold as like you remember what he said when he was going to help what's her name? He said, I didn't help you. I just figured out somebody had to burn this shit down once and
Yeah.
for all, right?
Right.
So he had this feeling or whatever. And Alex, you know, he's his brother, so he's sympathetic. But at the end of the day, little brother syndrome, plus at the end, when it seemed like all the odds were stacked against Shorty, he went with his family. He said, fuck it. I'ma survive. I'ma live. Sorry for this bitch, but you right? So at the end of the day, these dudes, they were the exception to the rule for most of the movie, and it's justified because they had a unique experience with it when they were younger. They're not like the little kid in the fucking farm who was there mid-hunt and just shot because they knew that was supposed to happen, you know,
Fuck
and they
them
heard the
kids, by the
Hey
way.
Luno,
Fuck
yeah.
them kids.
Hey Luno, but just like when
Them kids
Alex was a little
deserved
kid, I
everything that
mean,
happened to them.
just like when Daniel was a little kid, he told. And just like
He's in here.
if KTL was in that family as a little kid, he would have told. He would
Yeah,
have
I
been
bet.
just like them.
But
You
look,
would
hey,
Hell
look
no.
though,
you would
Slim.
have, bro.
Hey, look,
It's no way you could have thought differently if
Only
you was
one of
in
them
that
told
family.
Slim.
you gotta see though, like when
I
it's
disagree,
time,
KTL.
when it's that time, people make
No,
different
like I
decisions.
saw it
Like
happen.
a nigga could be with all the shit, all the robbing, killing, and then when they get in that fucking little ass room, they tell. they don't go in there like, I'm finna tell on the nigga. The police let them niggas know, oh, nigga, you finna get 25 to life. Oh, well, it was
Or
this
they
nigga
bring
over
the
here.
Burger King out.
That's
and
what
then
happened.
that's
Did
The
you
nigga
just
got that
attempt to
pressure.
compare
They gonna bring
imprisonment
Burger
to
King out
To
for
death,
KTF.
nigga. Yes, I did.
there's
Yo,
no
hey
way.
man,
Death.
look,
Man,
man, because I I got a
you
dart
got it,
soon,
bro.
so it's been a fire conversation. I know that we probably still like reached the hour, but I felt like it
No,
didn't
not yet.
seem too. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, it didn't seem too stagnant. I felt like this was a good conversation. The movie was dope, but I got to know what you guys' ratings are and shit before this is said and done. So, we trying to go around by the order of the list, or are we just gonna throw out
let's
ratings?
go by
What
the
are we
order of
doing?
the list.
Lu-
Get us
Start with
started,
Order.
Chief.
I give it a 7.5 on the Richter scale.
Okay.
Bob Celeste.
I'm actually gonna give this one here a 7.2.
First of all, do we have somebody
Oh shit.
adding this up? I'll add it up.
Yeah, I was gonna add it, but all right.
So
I got it.
7.5 and 7.2.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Who's next? FDub.
All right, so I give this a 7.5. I would have rated it a little bit higher, but I had some mixed feelings about the ending. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, man. I'm gonna give it a 7. So that leaves
Yeah,
Right.
KTL. KTL
Uh,
moves.
go ahead, Roots.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I think it was extremely funny. Well, not extremely funny. I think it was funny to keep me watching. I probably won't go back to it anytime soon, but if I'm going through and looking, trying to find something to watch, and it pop up on the stream, I'm like yeah, sure, I'll watch it. So I'll give it a 7.5.
Mm-hmm. KTL, finish it.
I give it a 3.
Right.
I would not recommend this movie. I would
Is that
not
your
recommend
final
this
answer,
movie to
KTL?
anyone. Yes.
Hey, let it be, bro. Let it be.
Yes, I give it 1 point because the character, like the main character, was an attractive woman. 1 point because the ending was like pretty good, and then like another point because there were like scattered comedic moments, a couple of them. So like that's a 3 out of 10.
With that being said, man, we got a 6.6 for
Jesus,
Ready or
The
Fools got
Not.
average.
hold.
For the average.
Fools got
It's
hold.
like
Give it that
average
3.
or
I
good.
mean, that's how nigga rated. That's how he rated.
This ain't no Pujols thing, Black
Yeah,
Roots.
I'm
This is
just
us
saying.
thing.
I'm not gonna question the rating. We all watched the
I'm not.
movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
accept it.
Yeah, we gotta accept that.
All right. Luno got the next movie, man. So what we got next week, Luno?
All right, y'all. So again, I had alluded to this earlier or whatever in the room and shit. Because I wasn't sure like what people felt about watching movies they already watched, but I guess the person choosing is doing that, right? I watched this movie a long time ago, but I think that I was kind of too young to really catch everything that was going on, and I think that I need a fresh watch of this one. So the next movie that we're gonna be watching here in this group is 2010's Shutter Island.
Let's
Oh
go.
my
Let's
God.
go. Good shit.
This should
Yeah.
be interesting.
That's the one. That's the one.
I never watched Shutter Island, so this is gonna be
I haven't
Get your
interesting.
watched it either.
popcorn, brother.
Fire. We got Leonardo DiCaprio, man. Let's get it, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. That's
Another
episode
time he
3.
got robbed of an Oscar. But,
Hold it down. Episode 3 of the Real Rap Coalition, man. We out
Hopefully
here.
this
We out
hopefully
this
this one don't
bitch.
get
Let's
vaulted,
go.
you feel me?
Hopefully we drop it.
3 out of 10.